1615. It had been a couple of years since the Kingdom of England established a permanent colony of Jamestown, and colonists had begun building more colonies along the northeastern Americas. A little later in the 1630s, the Connecticut colony was founded by Thomas Hooker, who had previously helped establish Massachusetts. One site of the new colony would become Gravesfield. Another parallel between Massachusetts and Connecticut would be a series of mock trials concerning witches, women thought to practice magic and threaten Christendom. The sham trials would see the deaths of thousands, the term heretic becoming a buzzword. Two brothers raised during the Radical period were Philip and Caleb Winterbane. The former was a distant, gruff boy who dealt in absolutes and rarely showed compassion for anyone outside of his sibling. The latter, on the other hand, was a typically friendly boy who tried his best to understand his sibling. While Philip's sour demeanor came across as off-putting, it didn't stop Caleb from loving him at all. Still, they came from a society that casted aside women with the aspirations of a witch. Though through interaction with various girls, Caleb believed Gravesfield's discrimination was unfounded. Those people behaved and acted just as normal as any of them, so why did they deserve to be persecuted without so much as due process? He'd entertained Philip's radical dream of becoming a witch hunter and earthly savior, preferring not to talk sense in him. Appreciating the gesture, he dragged Caleb into his shenanigans, which mostly occurred in the town's huge forest. On one of their excursions into the woodwork, they encountered an odd grotto not there before. It radiated with a blue fog, almost foreign in quality. Initially, Caleb was starting to believe Philip was onto something, but the fog disappeared quickly enough. "We were close," his brother grimaced. "I guess that kind is adamant in staying quiet. But witches will and do get stitches." He let Philip do his usual tirades, kicking a small shrub to respond. "Brother, do you really think witches are real?" Stuttering a bit, Philip said, "Why, of course. They're as real as they are alive. It's only a matter of time before they lead to Earth's untimely death." Sighing, Caleb asked, "Have you ever noticed that all of the accused haven't practiced the things they are accused of? That they aren't evil, in fact?" Doubling over himself, Philip continued, "I think I know what I'm talking about, brother. As far as I'm concerned, they and the rest of their malicious creatures are exiled somewhere. If and when we find this place and proceed to exterminate the lot of them, we will be hailed as heroes. Maybe if you saw things less altruistically sometimes, then this hunt would actually get off the ground." Once again, Philip couldn't be reasoned with. However, he had a point. Because of his open-endedness, Caleb often didn't have any inherent self-interest, only pretending with Philip to satisfy his belief. Due to this, he responded, "Sorry I said it that way, brother. I can't say I trust you on this obsession, but I can try to explore it." "Glad we can reach some compromise," Philip put with a smile, thinking to himself how blind Caleb was to his superior ambitions and his wayward words. Into the 1650s, where conflict within England via a civil war focused on one Oliver Cromwell led to terrible consequences for the colonies, the witch situation in Gravesfield became more justified. The new excuse was to blame the magic crafters for the situation in England. Subsequently, when the restored monarchy did take back control, more had already been burned at the stake. At that time, Philip accelerated his crusade with Caleb, trying the odd portion of the forest once more. It was at this site where they now found their portal, the fog not disappearing. At the top of the archway entrance was a blue liquid splashed awkwardly against the stone material. The portal looked, well, like magic. Across the starry background were yellow streaks, bending and weaving to create an opening. "Brother, I believe we have now found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow," Philip said, "though I expect this one to end up in flames with a little disembowelment on the side." Caleb cringed as Philip calmly put it. His brother had such a creepy sense of fascination with body parts, whether they be physical or metaphorical. He wondered if Philip would live long enough to start speaking as though he were a king of England. Placing his hand into the gate of perpetual madness, Philip was surprised to see it go through. "Amazing! But I expected that from our resident interlopers," he said with misguided confidence. "Care to come with me, brother?" In slight hesitation, which Philip picked up on, he said, "You're not asking me, are you?" His brother didn't nod, expecting him to already be at his beck and call. Sighing slightly, Caleb walked over, sticking his hand in, shocked at the trickery. "If what we find on the other side is what you've been babbling about, can we put this obsession down? At least for a while?" Caleb asked expectantly. "No guarantees. I suppose we can try to make it work," Philip responded. So the brothers walked through where their troubles would truly start. The first glimpse of this oddity was nothing short of surreal. It was still a place with a moon and sky, a sun that changed from blue to orange, and came equipped with oxygen. However, where they arrived was not the polar opposite of Gracefield. If anything, it was the same familiar Roman-style settlements and buildings they came to expect of Connecticut. Well, what set them off was the fact that witches were real. They had pointy ears and could use magic. The brothers also learned they were not exclusively women. It was a revelation that actually got to Philip, too. His stoic and nonchalant speech getting to a stop. He didn't know how to judge them based on his notions because they were going about their lives. It also seemed that they operated all the jobs and trades that would take forever for the average American colonist to perform. Caleb's previous assumption was right in that they were every bit as normal as humans. Rudely hiding them behind rubble, getting quick glances from the enemy, Philip said, "To say I told you so would be childish." Caleb fired back, "Really? I guess you weren't as surprised as I was a mere moments ago." Pausing, Philip continued, "Regardless, brother, I am well within my rights to say that when we're through, these foul witches will be." "Hello?" older witch boy said to them as they fell backwards in surprise. "I saw you two talking about our own kind." Philip thought, "They think we're them." Getting up without skipping a beat, Philip got out, "Yes, I was talking about the matter of what us two witches will do today." He quickly kicked Caleb, himself propping up to follow up with, "Forgive him. He often gets excited for these kinds of potential deeds." Looking over them more curiously, the increasingly annoying boy asked, "Say, what happened to your ears? Why are they round?" After he said that, Caleb came up with an excuse. "Let's just say that we had faults in our births. Our mother wasn't the healthiest of witches." Not a clever ruse, but it did make the boy be quiet. "Well, welcome to the Boiling Isles," he said as he left them to it.